All right, so a lot of times I'll do videos on a Friday. This is unusual. Today is a Thursday, and the question is, why are we doing a video? And the answer is, we were sitting in the room yesterday, and then Susan and Monty, what you announced was, Susan, you are regaining the ability to use your legs. And so a couple things. Number one, I want to start out with that and the explanation of when you were diagnosed and the change or the ability to use your legs. And then I want to switch gears to what we've been doing in order to get to that point. I will start. I'm going to bring the camera close so that everybody can see you guys. Okay. All right, folks. Here's Monty. Suze, there you are. And then again, I'm going to come on back and I'm going to have you, well, I would call it showing off. Hang on. I'm going to come all the way back.
I can kick both legs now.
You can kick both legs now. Okay.
Yeah. And then if he holds them up, I push out.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
I'm going to come to the side because it's even better. So everybody heard Susan. She can move both legs now, and she can kick her legs forward.
Yes. I can't pull them back yet.
Right. Can't pull them back yet.
But she's starting to get a little bit there too.
Yeah.
And then she can do it with this leg now too.
Suze, that's you moving your leg, or that's Monty moving your leg?
That's her pushing them out.
That's you pushing your leg.
And then watch her foot here. See what she can do with her foot now.
Okay.
And she could not do that before.
Okay, so the couple questions. Number one, when were you diagnosed with ALS?
I was diagnosed January 18th of 2023.
Okay, so right now we are July, and the diagnosis was beginning of this year.
Yes.
When were your first symptoms?
Probably last June.
Last June, so about 2 years ago. When's the last time you were able to move your legs?
It was probably February.
Yep.
February.
Okay, the reason I thought today would be an amazing time to discuss what's going on is because of the approach that we've taken with you and the difference between what you had thought might be the primary cause and by comparison where we landed with things. Okay, my question, you tell me, Susan, you want to tell the story? Monty, you want to tell the story, or you want me to kind of describe things?
As far as the pesticides we were using, because we have a bad tick problem on our place.
You live in a rural area.
Right.
And you routinely spray for ticks because you've been bitten by ticks before and you've got lots of ticks.
Yes.
Okay.
She got bit in her hip.
Mm-hmm.
And after that is when we started having the problems. But what we didn't realize is we were spraying our place with Permethrin.
Mm-hmm.
I was spraying the front yard and everything because of the ticks, not knowing that this could be the result of part of the problems.
Okay, I'll tell you why the screen is moving around. Because I want to I'm going to show the screen on my computer.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, I know this is such a low-tech way of doing this for everybody that's staring at this, but here's what you're looking at. You are looking at multiple articles already describing the link of that specific pesticide in individuals with ALS. Okay, so you're seeing right over here, right, linked to ALS. And so what's interesting, when we first spoke on Zoom, you had thought because the tick bite had happened soon before the symptoms that it was tick.
Right.
And then what became obvious, Monty, you normally did the spraying. Susan, you did a lot of gardening.
Mm-hmm.
I think you told me that you were planting bulbs.
Yes.
And so, Mont, you sprayed with Permethrin.
Right.
Susan, you went out, sat down, bare skin, bare hands, and planted bulbs, and then you got bit by a tick, and then Monty, you resprayed.
Yes.
Okay, when we got on the call, we did a search together and realized Permethrin is associated with motor neuron disease, and expected this is not so much about the tick bite. The tick bite is playing a role, but the Permethrin is playing what looks to be a bigger role. And the reason I say that is, Susan, the improvements that you have have come, but we have not treated infections. Okay, so I think that's a super important point to make. I'm going to make it again for everybody that's watching. You are now able to move your legs, but you haven't been able to for a period of time. And the approach that we've taken is more of a permethrin or pesticide focused approach. We have not treated infections. So for everybody that's over here. And when we first got together, the question was, is this tick bite? It was not. So again, I think that tick infections, and we've seen yours, right, are playing a role, but they were not the primary. Okay, what I want you to share with everybody, you did some research. So Susan is an RN. And so you had, well, first of all, you've got a medical background, and second of all, you are research driven. What you uncovered about permethrin is something that's very important. So I'm going to come on over to you. All right, tell us what you came up with.
Permethrin is the one pesticide that they spray military uniforms with.
Okay, so everybody heard that. It is the pesticide that is used to spray military uniforms. So until you told me that, I didn't realize it. I didn't think about the fact that clothing was sprayed. I didn't think about the fact that uniforms were sprayed. And what you found was that military uniforms are routinely sprayed with permethrin.
Yes. And as we all know, ALS is nicknamed the military disease because they have a higher prevalence of military personnel coming down with ALS.
So I tell you, it was the first time that I heard of a theory that started to resonate, right? We know it's not really a class of soldiers, meaning an MOS. It's not one specific MOS. We know if it was just things like inoculations, you would see large groups. Instead, it feels fairly random. I know there are a lot of different causes. So for example, I know it was parvo 19 that was reported in soldiers in Desert Storm. So we are not suggesting it's one thing in all soldiers. However, going back to the articles online, permethrin as a pesticide and its role not just in disease, but imagine specifically in motor neuron damage and the resulting disease ALS. To then find that permethrin, the fact that you found that permethrin is a primary pesticide used by the military to spray military uniforms, I agree, starts putting some pieces together. And I think it's going to be super helpful for a lot of people that may be watching this.
Right.
What we know, and Monty, one of the comments you made before we got on this call, we know it's not just permethrin, and the reason we know that is because multiple people in your area have been diagnosed, or to say this differently, the number of people with motor neuron disease in your area looks to be on the rise. So we know, again, there are multiple factors in this disease. The area that you're coming from?
We live outside of DeSoto, Missouri, which is about 50 miles south of St. Louis.
Now, I would tell you, we have a number of folks from St. Louis over here. We have very definitely seen reports of not just cohorts, but all kinds of toxins that are buried in that area. And then the question is, are we looking, and I don't have an answer yet, are we looking more at that, or are we looking at a farmland related issue? Hard to know, but we'll be on the lookout for cohorts to see if we can get a better sense of it.
Well, we also have a lot of lead mines and stuff in the area.
It's a very agricultural area,
Right.
and it's heavy lead mines.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think, again, this disease is a very complicated cellular mess. It's not one thing. It looks to be the combination of toxins plus infections. In the form of toxins, we know in your case, the tick spray was one of the primary. And so going back to why I think this video is incredibly beneficial. Well, number one, I mean, you are a lady that's had symptoms for over a year that's now regaining function. Okay, number two, in order to regain function on our side as a center, we are not going after infections as our primary. We're going after non-living toxins, or very specifically kind of done a pesticide road, right? And so now we wait to kind of see if we can get a better understanding from other people in that area, what links you together, so looking more closely at labs to even get clearer. And then we wait until we see you next time in order to see what you can do next. Yeah, I think so. All right. Anything else that you guys want to add as far as information or the video?
we just want everybody to know, if you're looking at this, that don't give up hope, because there is hope.
Yeah.
And here's where it starts.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
the number one reason we do videos, right? So the number one reason that we do videos is to describe just the number of people that are improving. And so this week, before, when we left yesterday, we had 2 people, right? So the improvement with you being able to start moving your legs, the improvement with the other person who's now able to move his wrist. And then as of this morning, we had a report of somebody that's here that's now able to pinch with his right hand, meaning regaining hand function. Yeah, so Monty, I agree. The real message over here, I'm glad that we get a chance to talk about Permethrin. I think it's really important to bring it to everybody's attention.
Yeah.
And the real takeaway is to try and figure out for each person, right, why this disease is occurring. What we do know is, imagine in the course of a single week to have 3 people with motor neuron disease all showing improvement. It does start to certainly suggest,
Yeah.
right, that this thing can go in an entirely different direction. And so this video, I agree, just makes that clear.
Right.
All right, well, listen, I can't thank you guys enough. I come up really close. Thanks so much, Suze. I appreciate this, you
Thank
guys.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.